we saw that the group has been correctly provisioned, but maybe the name is too long and the GID is not the one to my choosing. So we have two options. We could override manually what was provisioned, or we can set the zone provisioning to our liking. Let's take a look at the first option. So I can actually override this particular profile by doing the following. All I need to do is check zone profile and maybe change the name to my liking here, webadmin, and maybe I just want to give it a different GID. So in here, I've done a manual override. If I do an AD flush, and then again I do the AD query group, notice that it has changed. But still, this requires a manual intervention on my end. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to show you how we can manage the lifecycle, and then I'm going to remove the group and re-provision it again, but in the way that is of more of my liking, and that way I don't have to touch it again. So let's go ahead and do a lifecycle. So let's just say Raymond, I want to remove him from the group. I go ahead and remove it. I cycle ZPA just to accelerate time, and do provision again. If I do an AD flush and then an AD query group, notice that Raymond is gone. So the benefit to organizations is that now you can manage the memberships straight from here, and this could be those with scripting, with a identity management solution, and any other tools. If I need to actually deprovision the group completely, it's very simple. All I need to do is remove that group from the provisioning group. And again, I stop and start the ZPA because I want to accelerate time. Same thing with AD flush. So now I've actually deprovisioned the group. If I go and do a refresh, the group is gone. And if I go and do an AD flush in my particular platform, and there's no groups coming from AD. So let's change now how this is provisioned, maybe manually or whatnot. So let's let's go ahead and change it so we can name it automatically. So in here, in the Unix name, I have a couple of options, and I could do a truncation and say, you know what, I'm going to use the last valid eight characters. This is aligned with my naming convention because the last 8 characters is actually the name that I want it to be in Unix. So I could do that, and I have many options for the GID. I could use an attribute, the RC2307 Unix name attribute, or the a default value from the zone. But in my particular case, I'm going to go ahead and change the zone defaults to auto increment the GID, and I'm going to start at 10,000. And let's go ahead and pick up that from the zone default value. Let's go ahead and do an apply. So now I'm going to go ahead and re-provision, and let me just add my members again. I think I removed somebody. I'm going to go ahead and add this guy, and I'm going to add it again to my provisioning groups. I'm going to stop and start the ZPA, and my expectation now is that the Unix name is going to be the last 8 characters, in this case webadmin, and the GID is going to be 10,000, starting with that. So let's take a look, and there it is. We have it. So now automatically it starts with webadmin, GID 10,000. And if I go to my platform, I can just take a look and do an AD flush. AD query group. And there you go. I have my group right there. I'm going to go ahead and provision another group. And actually, what I could do is just copy this group. Let's go ahead and do a new group. Unix HQ dbaadmin. I'm going to put everybody in here again. Make it a member of my provisioning group. But let's add everybody first. So Raymond, Matt, Jesse, there you go. And member of right there. Stop and start ZPA. I have it set to 1 minute, but I don't want to wait 60 seconds. I don't even know if it's running right now. But if I go to my groups, now I should have my second group, and it's auto incremented as desired. And if I go to my platform, I'm going to go to the SUSE platform now. So let's go ahead and do a do AD flush. Actually, first AD query group. No groups. do AD flush. And is AD query group. Here they are. And in here, I want you to contrast the two outputs here. When I do the AD query, I'm going to do an AD flush. When I do an AD query group in here, notice that the people who are exploded in those groups or are members of those groups are just the people who can access these machines. Even if the memberships of the groups have everybody on it, only the people who have access to those machines based on the access model that I have created will have access to each of them. This feature is very powerful because it takes away the access part of everything versus the memberships of secondary groups. That's why I always insist, if the secondary group is used for access or privileges, it is not needed with Centrify, because that's why we have the access and governance model. And we actually went through the whole process. We did some planning, doing and checking, as well as adjusting. So I hope this session about Centrify ZPA for secondary groups was actually helpful for you.